Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 7th day of October 2021. Well, Pluto has finally left retrograde. It's stationing direct today. So, I don't know. External transformation, maybe. Blowing things up. I don't know. We'll see. When it's in retrograde, you're looking at inner transformation, so the focus is on other stuff, but we'll see what kind of transformative effect Pluto's going to have on everything today when we look at the chart. Right now, we've got a rune. Our Elder Futhark rune for today is Kenaz. I'm going to go ahead and do these, and then we'll just go over real quickly what we did on Monday. If this is your first time here, welcome. I do a little bit of review before we get started. Let's see, looks like Kata Draconis is our geomancy rune for today. Is this it here? Yes, it is. So Kata represents the south node of the moon, or the tail of the dragon, and you're looking at past life, you're looking at karma, the effect of our actions on ourselves, on others, on society at large, whatever. Your community, your work. But it signals the end of something, whereas Caput Draconis signals the beginning of something. So perhaps something's coming more to an end than Pluto going retrograde. But overall, from Monday, we had the general idea was wisdom gained from higher self-awareness. I made some notes here, kind of culled down what I do here, and what am I dropping? I'm dropping something on the floor. I don't know what that was. Oh, I see. A little post-it note pad. But basically, that was from the level of the runes. From the cards, now, we were balancing success with compassion and reciprocity. We had the Queen of Swords, who's very successful. We had the Wheel of Fortune. But then we had the Two of Cups. And you can get involved in the success and all of that, but is it going to turn into something that's service to self, or do you include others in that process? And with that, I think we're really talking about, are we governed by ego, which was the King of Cups? He's a little passive aggressive, although he can be very kind and generous and all of that, just like the Queen of Wands can be. There's the passive-aggressive element to him, the lack of commitment, maybe, that he has trouble with that. So how full? But the idea is, and I should say, then the benefit card. That was the card. The King of Cups is what challenged us. But the benefit card was the Eight of Swords, where you can go within, turn off the noise, and let go of perceptions that aren't fitting anymore. The other question it asks is, are you being governed by the ego or by perception? And how fulfilling will your success be if you're unable to extend empathy or compassion or reciprocity to others? We're seeing that right now with a couple of senators in the Democratic Party who can't seem to understand. I mean, the one from West Virginia, the state struggles. I read that it's something like 6th in the nation in terms of poverty, 4th in the nation in terms of the money that we send them just for folks to be able to live. And yet he doesn't wish to create an entitlement society by upping the debt limit. Are you kidding? The debt limit is what was done in the last 4 years. These are the bills we owe. It'd be as if we all decided not to pay any of the bills that we have coming in at the first of the month or whenever they come in for you. That's what this is. The whole thing is really about. That's on the grander scale, where a lack of compassion or empathy for other people, when you're in a position of power to do something about the circumstances of people, when you lack empathy, it can have a really big effect. Well, I guess they've decided today that they're going to, in fact, raise it at least through some part of December. So, okay, we'll be dealing with it again. But you can see where a single-minded approach he's very successful. Apart from being a senator, he's very successful, but he seems to be unable to then translate into his relationships and responsibilities toward others. So again, I think that's, a big example of what we were talking about on Monday is, can you, in your success, can you understand that there are other people in need, other people that need your love and support? It doesn't mean that you necessarily need to share your wealth with them or anything like that. I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying that are you able to see beyond your own experience in life and then show empathy and compassion to other people? Because I don't know, I think if you can't do that, success can be just a very, cold thing, really. There's no, I mean, the money won't keep you warm at night necessarily, in other words, if you can't extend yourself to other people and be supportive, even if it's just emotionally supportive. So anyway, let's go ahead though and look at what the cards are today. We know we have Kenaz. I don't think I talked about this. This is the torch, or the light of spirit. This is awakening. It's illumination, it's clarity, it's revelation, healing, well-being, love, intuition, transformation, creativity, and all of that. So maybe what we're doing here, maybe our past life karma or the effect of our actions is awakening us to the need for letting something go that maybe hasn't served us really as well as we might have thought it did. But we'll see. Let's see what the cards have to say, and we'll get a little more information. So let's take the first three cards. Oh, goodness gracious. We've got two major cards. We've got the Star. Now the Star is it's the 17th card of the major arcana. So it's an 8 energy. So we're looking at really material achievement, recognition, strength, leadership, greater harmony, being able to see the greater picture and understand more from that standpoint than from a reactive standpoint, maybe. But the Star represents our hopes, our wishes, transformation, again aligning with Kenaz in that regard. Insight, optimism, inspiration, our dreams made manifest. You see the goddess in her nude form. She's pouring water both into the pool. She has one foot in the pool, the little pond there. And then she's pouring some onto the land as well. Balancing our material side with our emotional well-being. So we begin with some transformation today. And next we have the Lovers, card 6 of the major arcana. Here we see the angel above on the cloud. We see the sun above that, above the angel's head. Its rays emanating. It's rays of illumination and understanding and awakening. And here we have the representations of Adam and Eve. We see Adam over here with he's got a little oak leaf for a tail there. Does he have an oak leaf for a tail? No, that's not that. Yeah? Or is he holding something? No. It looks like he has an oak. No, you know what that is? That's just a lower leaf down here at the very bottom. You see that in I think the Devil card where they've got tails, and his is, I think, an oak leaf for a tail. But actually, that's not what that is. I think that's just a lower leaf here on this sparsely growing oak tree. Over here behind the woman, though, behind Eve, you see the apple tree with the serpent. Now, I want you to look very closely at where each person is looking. She's looking toward the angel, so she's looking towards spirit. and awakening, because she's standing in front of the tree of knowledge because she was the one that could handle the knowledge. She was the one that was responsible for creation, basically. You see, even the mountain is angling toward her. So the strength of the feminine within, the feminine divine. And where's he looking? He's looking at her. So he's not so concerned with spirit. So instead of a joint effort in terms of being the guardians of future races, it's really her. I think that we are in a position right now. Let's see, 6 and 8 is 14, so that's, or rather, yeah, 6 and 8 is 14. So that's a 5 energy, and then it matches, then it aligns with the 5 energy here, the 5 of Wands. This is playful struggle. This is asserting one's creativity. This is asserting one's, just a self-assertion all over the place, not in any real balance. It's competition, gain, creative conflict, a little bit off balance there, but nobody's hitting anyone. That's the thing about this card. But nobody's really communicating with nobody's really communicating together, though, either. So I think that everybody's doing their own thing. Again, it may be relating to the Queen of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune from Monday's reading. But I think that, here you have, with the Lovers, you have balance, duality, discrimination, choice, self in others, integration, unification. But again, the focus of the masculine polarity or the male here is not exactly focused on spirit. Neither is this. This is about competitive creative expression. Let's put it that way. Creative ideas. Although ideas could be thought of as the air element, could be swords as well. But I think with the star, if we look at that in terms of maybe insight, I think that we gain insight when we remain in balanced polarity with one another. I think that we're able to move forward when we can do that. The awakening with Kenaz here is found in the sun. Given that Kenaz is the light of spirit or the torch. But again, knowledge comes from spirit, just like on Monday, where we understood that wisdom comes from higher self-awareness. If you look at her as the goddess, this is about transformation and joy and optimism and dreams coming true. But I suspect that it's not a physical form-based dreams coming true idea. It's more about the greater awareness of who we are to one another. And I think that the Lovers talks about that. Again, she's focused on higher self-awareness and he is focused on her. He's not focused on that. And I suspect that when you look at the struggle between the projective and the receptive, I think that's what's playing out in our world. It's been playing out really for thousands of years, but it's playing out in our world. And I think that we're seeing that now and have been for some time. But currently, we saw a difference between a focus on power and gaining money and putting power in the hands of foreign people over our country versus now a coming back together and serving the people. Having the government actually serve the people instead of serving some other, criminal type of master, if you will, organized crime type of master. And I think that that's a very out of control masculine projective type of energy that's been in play. We used to be more matriarchal than we are now. Women used to have more authority. They had authority over kingdoms. They were the rulers. They were somebody that was regarded as important and of value. And now there was a shift at some point where we became a patriarchal society, and all of a sudden the goddess was gone in her representations. Any type of earth type of tradition was gone, and it all became about warring and conquest and male domination in the society. And it doesn't really matter in what society we're talking about. This has happened worldwide, where that type of energy has manifested, and now we're trying to cope with all of it. We see it in the unwillingness of people to care about somebody else and about their safety and security. We see it. I mean, the most immediate and obvious example is is how we are managing the pandemic. There's too big of a number of people that look upon this, and they ignore science. They ignore the idea that it's okay to care about other people. I saw this little graphic on Twitter, and I took it and I posted it on my Facebook page, that talks about and it's a Native American thing, but it's referencing, I don't know I don't know if it referenced a particular tribe or anything, but I don't remember. But the idea behind it is that there's a difference between, and the I think it was a grandfather said it, in the West, we look at our rights as being the most important thing, whereas in truth, it's our obligation to one another that's the most important thing. And I think that that's lacking. That's the feminine side of self, if you will, the feminine receptive polarity in action when we are able to care about other people. And that's what we were talking about on Monday. You can have all this wealth, but if you can't care about somebody else, Senator Joe Manchin, then I don't know what you do. You know, what good is it? You can sit on your houseboat, but people are going to come up in their kayaks and say, excuse me, but we have issues. You know, you're supposed to be representing us. We have issues. Why aren't you listening? Right? Same with the little lady from Arizona. What are you doing? Why won't you talk to your people that got you elected? You haven't talked to them in all this time. They knocked on doors. They did voter drives. Why aren't you talking to them? Why aren't you listening? Why are you only listening to wealthy donors? You see, there's a difference in the mindset. Are you able, when you're in a position to do something for others, to do that, even if it's just offering your time? Or maybe help or something, you know, like, oh, do you need help mowing your lawn? Maybe someone's, you know, ill or something, or they're older. Do you need some help? Anything like that. If you have the ability to extend yourself to others in empathy and compassion, then the reciprocity is a given, right? They're going to appreciate it. You're going to have lightened their load, so to speak, in life. You're going to take some worry off of their shoulders, right? But if we stay in this creative competition with one another where nobody seems to be listening to the other person, I don't know where we go with that. You know, if we cannot pin our hopes and wishes and dreams on the collective aspect of self coming in and saying, look, you know, you had your fun here, guys, but now it's time to wake up a little bit here and understand that we have to be in sync with one another. We have to care about one another, you know. And where does that come? That comes from spirit. That's the higher self, the higher vibratory awareness of the soul, you know, reminding us of, wait a minute, you know, we're souls in these bodies. We're here to explore and learn, but not at the expense of one another. And that's where I think the imbalance between polarities, I think that's probably been the biggest impact of that, where it, instead of understanding that we have that we're part of a greater tribe that we all need to contribute to for its success, for its greater success, instead it's individuals, playing this game with one another. And see, nobody gets anywhere, right? They may be able to express themselves, and that's fine. We want that. But at the same time, we need to go somewhere. We need it to actually yield something, a little bit more than our hopes and wishes. We can hope for a lot of things, but if we're not willing to put our own effort behind that, to make that a possibility, then, see, and that takes coming together with others. This isn't just about a self-driven experience. This is about self and others, self and the other side of self. That's really all this is. Let's take a look at the card that challenges us. We have to let go of the nightmare. Put it in order. Get our perceptions in order. The Nine of Swords basically signals that the nightmare's over. It's time to wake up. That aligns well with Kenaz, but it's to in other words, to put the ego's perceptions in the order that it needs to be. See it for what it is and let it go. That's the challenge. If people have done things to harm the country, if they've done things to harm their neighbors, if they've done things to harm people in their families, if they've caused consternation or grief or worry, for others, it's time to put an end to that. Just as it's time to let go of perceptions that no longer serve you, because they can be a real nightmare. But I love how they show this. Not only are the swords in order, but you see here, you look at the quilt and you see an order there as well. Nothing's really going away except things that aren't going to cause you to unify with others and to care about others and to extend compassion and love to other people. Let's look at the benefit card. I take the 13th one each time for those. For randomness sake, 13's my number. Here we have the 11th or the 12th card of the Major Arcana, the Hangman. Here we have surrendering to higher self. When you can put everything into perspective and you understand what things are truly about, then you can surrender to spirit. This is alignment, it's transformation. Again, you see Kenaz reflected down here, just like you see it reflected here with the sun above. And since the sun is a star, we can see it here as well. So it's awakening, transformation, surrendering to spirit. Triplicities throughout. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Let's see if I can do it. 1, 2, 3. I'm doing it backwards. 1, 2, 3. This is sacrifice and letting go, and letting spirit guide your intuition and your awakening and your awareness, and informing your relationships and experiences and the choices that you make, how you see the world, surrendering to spirit. Again, I think that when you're talking about, from Monday, wisdom from higher self-awareness, you're letting go of things and learning from the experiences that you've had, so that you can understand, okay, this isn't working for me. This isn't working for my family. It's not working for with me and in other words, me and my family, me and my friends, me and the community. Something isn't working anymore, and it's time to let that go. It's time to understand the truth of it and let it go, so that we can awaken and have spirit inform and guide our decisions and our choices and our perceptions and our relationships. Ultimately, it comes down to surrendering to spirit and letting spirit govern all of it. Wisdom from higher self-awareness. Again, how can we be fulfilled? 5 is a number of fulfillment as well. It's freedom versus restriction. It's change. And between the star and the lovers, there needs to be a different change in how we see things. And we can no longer simply assert ourselves into a void where nobody's hearing us. It just seems like there's a lot of noise. There seems like there's just a ton of noise right now from people. Yelling at school boards, yelling at teachers, yelling at parents walking their kids to school, trying to stop them and pull masks off and things like that. Unfortunately, we're not through the pandemic. We just aren't. And it's going to be a while yet before we are. And people have to leave others alone about that. If you are somebody that wishes to wear a mask, you need to be allowed to do that without any interference. You're not interfering with anyone else. You're just simply trying to take your child to school. And if the child is in a mask, well, then wonderful, good. That's what should be happening. All that time when our children weren't wearing masks at the grocery stores, I'd look at parents and think, oh my God, what are you doing to your kids here? Especially when you have other people that could be transmitting the virus to them. Why would you put your child through that? Why would you ever do that? And yet, for some reason, it's like something has broken free. Common sense or connection to spirit or whatever has just ended for some of these folks. And they need to find that again. It's still there. All they have to do is awaken to it. All they have to do is know it. It's all there. And intrinsically, they do know. But for some reason, they have just turned their backs on this. And it's amazing to watch it. It's amazing to listen to people screaming about these things on videos. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you so angry that someone wants to wear a mask and put one on their children? Why would that matter to that person? And yet it's like they're so uncomfortable with the choice that they make that now they have to scream at other people. So that they badger them into doing the same thing so they feel better about the choice they made. I mean, just make a different choice, right? See it differently. Let it go. And then maybe you can start to hear truth, right? So I don't know. This has been an interesting reading this week. I really think that we have to understand our relationship to other people. And that it cannot simply be about our views alone. If you're trying to harm other people with those views, that's unacceptable. That's pure ego talking. There's no spirit there. And I think that the Hanged Man is suggesting, well, surrender to spirit and things will get better. They really will. So I guess that's it. We'll talk again on Monday for Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune. Again, I do that Monday and Thursday. Give you a little time in between to think about things. The esoteric and magical influences will go out in the newsletter on Saturday. It'll be published also on Sunday over on the blog at Stepping Aside. Links are below the video to wherever I am. And let's see. Oh, the correspondences for the week, along with recommendations for Work and Magic, will be on the Patreon page if you want to support me over there. It's just $1 a month to do that. But I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk soon. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.